Wow. If you blinked this week, you literally missed it. I mean, the ground is shifting under our feet so fast that some of the tools we were just talking about last week, they already feel kind of dated. And this isn't just about a few new features. We're talking about a fundamental rewrite of how we create, how we work, and even how we compete. So let's break down what in the world just happened. This quote, it just perfectly captures the kind of week it's been. The guy who built Uber, Travis Kalanick, just came out of nowhere after 8 years of total silence. And what does he do? He launches this massive robotics company he's been building in complete stealth. It just goes to show you, while we're all glued to the front-end AI race, you've got these titans making enormous silent moves in the background. The whole arena is just packed, and the stakes, they've never been higher. All right, so section 1. And all this intense competition, it really reveals a crucial truth about what's happening right now. The AI race, it's not just about who can build the smartest model anymore. No, it's turned into a war for distribution. It's about who can get their AI into the tools that you're already using every single day. And check this out. This is fascinating. This data is from the latest A16Z report on the top AI apps. And yeah, no surprise, ChatGPT is still #1. But look what comes next. You've got Canva and Notion. These legacy tools, right? All they did was add AI features to what they already had, and they're beating out companies that were built from the ground up on AI. It's pretty wild. It just proves that in this new game, having millions of users already on your platform, well, that's the ultimate trump card. So what's the upshot of all this? Well, this battle for your desktop is completely rewriting the creative canvas. It's moving us away from all the tools we've spent years mastering and pushing us towards something, well, something entirely new. Let's just break this down. Think about the old way, right? For years, creating something digitally meant hard, manual labor. If you've ever used a tool like Figma or Canva, you know what I'm talking about. You painstakingly build every single element by hand, every button, every box. The new way? It's totally different. You just describe the outcome you want. You literally speak and the canvas builds itself. This is a huge shift. It's not about making skilled designers faster. It's about making the very act of creation, well, not dependent on that skill anymore. Okay, and the most stunning example of this, I mean truly mind-blowing, just dropped this week from Anthropic. Their AI, Claude, can now build interactive diagrams, charts, and even entire applications right inside the chat window. You don't need to know how to code, you don't need a fancy design tool, all you need is to know how to ask for what you want. And this demo, man, it just perfectly illustrates the magic. It starts with a single prompt. Build me an interactive anatomy explorer of the human body. That's it. And that one sentence set off this whole chain reaction. Claude just went to work. It's installing packages, pulling down medical files, mapping organ IDs. And the result? A fully clickable human body atlas. You can hover over parts, get descriptions. There's even a quiz mode. And the craziest part? This all happened in one conversation, with absolutely zero code written by a human. But hey, it's not just for these huge, complex projects. Think about everyday tasks. So the CEO of Google DeepMind made this big claim that AGI would have like 10 times the impact of the Industrial Revolution. Someone just took that quote and asked Claude to visualize it. And in seconds, literally seconds, it spits out a fully interactive chart comparing the two. It even has sliders so you can adjust the speed factor. It just took a quote from an article and turned it into a real explorable piece of data visualization. Incredible. Okay, so now let's talk about Google, because of course they're in on this. And they're taking this whole idea even further. They're not just building a tool, they're building an entire pipeline to take you from just a vague idea all the way to a finished working product. So here's how their workflow, what they're calling the Vibe workflow, works. First, you start in a tool called Google Sketch. It's their new AI design canvas. You just prompt it with a concept for a website. Step 2, Stitch generates the visual assets and, get this, the initial code files for you. Then, you just drag those files straight into Google AI Studio. And finally, you give it one more prompt, something simple like, hey, code a functional animated version of this site. And boom, it does. It writes the code for a live website. Come on, you have to believe this was intentional, right? It's no coincidence these tools were released in the same week. Releasing a tool for designing a vibe and another one for coding that vibe at the exact same time, that's a massive signal. Google is building a completely seamless end-to-end creation engine. They don't just want to help you design or help you code, they want to own the entire journey, from that first spark of an idea all the way to a final product. So now, let's zoom out a bit. When you step back from these specific tools,
you start to see the much larger goal that all these companies are racing towards. And it's not just about building better apps, it's about putting an agent inside your machine, a truly intelligent assistant that actually works for you.
So, what exactly is an AI agent? Let's make it super simple. Think of it this way. ChatGPT is a tool. You go to it, you ask it questions, you get answers. An agent? That's a teammate. You don't just ask it questions, you give it objectives. It doesn't sit around waiting for your next command. It runs in the background 24/7, completing tasks, managing other AIs, and working on your projects even while you're asleep. And the power we're talking about here is just staggering. I mean, get this. In one demo, Perplexity's agent autonomously ran an entire complex digital marketing campaign over a single weekend. In doing that, it completely replaced a whole suite of software tools. The value of that software? Over $225,000 a year. Gone. Just like that. And of course, everyone is jumping in and building their own version of this teammate. You've got Perplexity's agent, which is like a high-level manager for other AIs. Claude's new co-work feature is that assistant that catches you up on email and Slack while you're offline. You've got the open source world, with NVIDIA adding extra security to a model called OpenClaw. And then there's Meta. They just bought a company whose agent can directly control your computer's terminal. We're talking the deep code-level command center of your machine. The race is absolutely on. So yeah, all of this technology it's incredible. But it really forces us, to ask some very real and frankly very tough questions. What does all this mean for our jobs, for our economy, for our future? What is the human bottom line here? Well, this visualizer from Andrei Karpathy paints a really clear picture. You can see it right here. Jobs that involve routine tasks, both cognitive and manual. Think cashiers, office clerks, they're on the decline. But at the exact same time, we're seeing real growth in skilled trades like electricians and these super technical roles like software developers. The very shape of our job market is changing right before our eyes. And all this creates this fascinating double-edged sword. I mean, just look at this. In the very same week that Uber announced a massive over $1 billion deal to build a robotaxi fleet, which, could put a lot of drivers out of work, a totally new type of work just popped up. DoorDash announced they will now pay their Dashers to do tasks that are designed for one thing, to generate training data for AI. So what are these new jobs? Well, Dashers can now actually earn money by filming themselves doing everyday tasks or by recording themselves speaking. This work isn't for a customer ordering food. No, it's for an algorithm. They are literally being paid to collect the real-world data that these AI and robotic systems need to get smarter and to better understand the physical world. And that leaves us with a pretty provocative final question, doesn't it? As old jobs get automated away and these new data collection gigs start popping up, you really have to wonder about the nature of this new economy. Is your next job just training your own replacement? Are we heading into an era where our main job is just to feed the machines that will one day do our jobs for us? It's a huge question, and one we're all going to have to confront a lot sooner than we think.